The vibe is immediately off, with rain that isn't actually rain. Someone's dropping cryptic warnings about a storm that's about to hit, and it feels less like weather and more like a whole world-ending event. The tension is already building, setting a seriously ominous tone for what's coming. Okay, so boom. It is noon, and this pirate radio DJ, Regulus, is getting absolutely swarmed. She is yapping on air, calling out the British government, and some goons called Manus Vindictae. It is giving major chaos energy, and she is about to turn her ship into a whole roller coaster. Things escalate fast when a massive black ship, rocking the Manus Vindictae logo, rolls up and starts blasting. Regulus is shook. She just wanted to play some tunes, not get into a naval battle. Her whole pirate radio aesthetic is being seriously threatened by these terrorist-level haters right now. Regulus tries to play the hostage card with the investigators she captured, thinking they're with the attackers. But it backfires spectacularly. Her ship is literally sinking, and all her precious records are about to go to the bottom of the ocean. It is a certified F in the chat for her collection. In the middle of the chaos, the investigators, who are definitely not with Manus Vindictae, try to set the record straight. They're from the St. Pavlov Foundation, and this whole thing is a massive misunderstanding. But it is a little too late for apologies as the ship goes down. We meet the Timekeeper, Vertin, who just woke up from something. Her right-hand person, Sonetto, is giving her the rundown. Their mission to register Regulus went sideways, and now everyone is caught between a rock and a hard place, with Manus Vindictae hunting them and the storm closing in. Vertin admits she is not a fighter like Sonetto. Her skills are more cerebral, focused on the arts of arcanum. Sonetto isn't asking her to throw hands, though. She needs Vertin's unique perception to guide them, playing to her strengths as a strategist and a seer in this messy situation. Sonetto busts out some experimental tech, a portable floppy disk that can teleport them. It is a bit glitchy, a real beta test moment, but it is their best shot at saving time. The instructions are simple enough. Picture the place, say the name, and hope for the best. Classic high-risk, high-reward play. Meanwhile, Regulus is having a full-blown meltdown over her lost treasures. All her records, her savings, even a new tape drive are now fish food. She is ready to throw down with the Manus Vindictae goons, blaming them for her losses while still trying to protect what little she has left. Just as things look bleak, Vertin and Sonetto teleport in, perfectly predicting the enemy's location mid-jump. Vertin's perception skills are already proving to be next level. This grand entrance solidifies her role as the Timekeeper and the brains of the operation, impressing everyone, including the skeptical Regulus. With only 45 minutes before the storm hits, the newly formed squad has to break through the enemy lines. Vertin takes command, and even Regulus agrees to help, mostly because they just saved her. An alliance of convenience is formed under the ticking clock of an impending temporal anomaly. The Foundation crew tries to officially register Regulus, explaining it is the law for Arcanists. But it sounds a lot like getting recruited and tracked, which is a major red flag for a freedom-loving pirate. The whole situation is framed in bureaucracy, which just is not Regulus's style at all. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding for 60 hours, hit that subscribe button. I do the grinding so you don't have to. Your support really helps the channel. Regulus is completely nerding out over the teleportation floppy disk, fascinated by the idea of storing arcane skills on tech. This moment of genuine curiosity gives Sonetto an opening, but in the chaos of another ambush, Regulus pulls a fast one, activates the disk herself, and dips out, leaving them all behind. With Regulus gone and the storm imminent, the mission is a bust. Sonetto's partner insists they bail to avoid being disqualified as investigators, but Sonetto refuses to leave. As chief investigator, she is determined to stay until the last second to complete the registration, showing some serious, if not reckless, dedication. Vertin decides to stick with Sonetto, claiming she has her own mission in the same area. They get a lead that Regulus might be at a record store she frequents. The search continues, with Vertin's true motives still under wraps, adding a layer of mystery to her partnership with the by-the-book investigator. They find a local who knows Regulus and confirms her ship was sunk. Posing as a friend, Vertin learns Regulus might be hiding out in a nearby cafe. The guy is more interested in selling a newspaper, but he provides the crucial lead they need to track down their runaway pirate Arcanist. They spot their target in the cafe, but there is a twist. Regulus is using an optical arcane skill to make herself invisible. All they can see is a floating cup of tea and a pastry. It is a pretty clever hiding spot, but Vertin's sharp perception cuts right through the illusion. The confrontation gets real. Regulus makes it clear she is not signing up to be tracked by any government authority. Freedom is her brand, and registration is the opposite of that. She is digging her heels in, making this a battle of wills between her desire for autonomy and the Foundation's orders. The fight showcases Sonetto's ultimate ability, a powerful ritual that can cut through illusions. It is a seriously cool power-up moment that reveals Regulus's position. Even though it is a powerful move, Regulus is not down for the count yet, proving she is a tougher opponent than they thought. In a surprise move, Vertin offers Regulus a misty bubble ball and a deal. She needs Regulus's help with something and proposes a temporary alliance. This is a complete departure from the Foundation's mission, showing Vertin is playing a different game. She tells Regulus to meet her at a bookstore. Cornered in the bookstore, Vertin finally reveals her true plan. She does not want to take Regulus to the Foundation. She wants Regulus to brave the storm with her. This is the moment her personal mission becomes clear. She is not just an observer. She is trying to save people from being erased. As the storm begins, reality starts to warp in the most unsettling way. Rain rises from the ground, but nobody else seems to notice. Vertin explains that because Regulus can also see these anomalies, it proves she is the one Vertin has been looking for. The weirdness is a feature, not a bug. Vertin urges Regulus to look at the world with her own eyes as the storm fully hits. People and objects begin to reverse and pixelate out of existence. It is a horrifying, glitchy apocalypse, and Vertin confirms this is the end of an era. She is here to protect Regulus through it. Vertin explains her experiment was a success. Regulus survived the storm. She reveals the biggest twist yet. Time has been moving backward ever since the turn of the millennium in 1999. They have been living through history in reverse, and the storm is what erases each preceding era. Vertin leads Regulus into her suitcase, which is a pocket dimension, an ark that is safe from the storm. Inside, it is a whole command center filled with photos and artifacts from lost eras. This is where Vertin does her work as the Timekeeper, the one who records history as it disappears. The weight of it all hits Regulus. The people in the photos are gone, erased by the reversing timeline. Vertin confesses that while her suitcase can save objects, her attempts to save ordinary people have all failed. Regulus is the first living person to survive inside the suitcase, making her special. Vertin reveals why she chose Regulus. She overheard Regulus on the radio talking about a full moon when there could not have been one, proving Regulus could perceive the glitches in their reality. This shared perception made Vertin believe she could finally save someone, giving her one last shot of hope. Vertin makes it clear this is her own rogue mission. She could not stand by and let Sonetto take Regulus away, only to be erased by the storm like everyone else. She is seeking the truth about what started this temporal mess, and she is willing to defy the Foundation to find it. Mr. Apple, a sentient, talking apple and associate of Regulus, provides some world-building exposition. He notes that the social status of Arcanists has improved over the decades, thanks to subculture movements. Back in the 1920s, things were much worse, highlighting the changing dynamics of their world. Things get weird when Vertin touches a strange line inside the suitcase and gets teleported into some kind of mental space. She finds Sonetto and Regulus there, both dizzy and disoriented. It seems the suitcase has some strange and not fully understood properties, creating an unexpected and confusing reunion. Sonetto arrives, not to arrest anyone, but with news of a promotion. The Foundation Committee, somehow already aware of the outcome, has decided to recruit Regulus. Sonetto is now assigned as Vertin's chief assistant for a new, bigger mission. The Foundation is playing 4D chess, staying steps ahead of Vertin's plans. Regulus is not buying the official story. The Foundation Vertin described was a cool shelter with free Dr. Pepper, not some stuffy research institution. Mr. Apple backs her up, creating an awkward moment where Sonetto has to defend the Foundation's reputation as a place for young people. In a private conversation, it becomes clear the Foundation does not fully trust Vertin. She acted on her own, yet they predicted her success and co-opted it. This confirms that the organization is deeply manipulative and secretive, even with its most valuable agents, setting up future internal conflicts. Vertin clarifies her personal mission. She is not trying to be an enemy of the Foundation, but she needs to find the truth about 1999 and her mother, whose existence the Foundation denies. It is a deeply personal quest for answers that drives her to bend the rules and risk everything. Regulus, after considering her options, decides to roll with it. In a world where the storm is constantly erasing everything, true freedom is a myth anyway. She figures she might as well infiltrate the Foundation, use their fancy research gear, and have some fun causing chaos from the inside. Vertin is officially promoted and put in charge of all investigations into the storm and Manus Vindictae. Sonetto, now her assistant, is genuinely impressed and thankful for Vertin's work. This solidifies their new dynamic as a team, moving forward with the Foundation's full, albeit shadowy, support. The new mission just dropped, and it is a whole vibe shift. They are heading to 1920s Chicago to stop a massacre of Arcanists. The intel says it is going down in an underground parking lot. Vertin's squad has to rescue the victims before some human gangsters pull up. The pressure is on. Sonetto is in full tactical mode, meticulously reconstructing the crime scene to plan their ambush. She is all about precision and caution, especially when lives are at stake. Her serious, by-the-book approach contrasts with the more chaotic energy of the rest of the team, showing her professional dedication. Mr. Apple makes a grim discovery on the two drunks they subdued. They were carrying currency only used by arcanists, implying they were not just random humans. This adds a dark layer to the 1929 setting, hinting that the lines between victim and perpetrator are more blurred than they seem. They arrive to find the gangsters already being taken out by a mysterious arcanist. It is Schneider, a member of Manus Vindictae, who has her own agenda. She is not saving the gangsters. She is eliminating them because they plan to harm arcanists. The mission has been flipped on its head. A tense standoff ensues between Vertin's team and Schneider. Schneider reveals she was sent to recruit the arcanists who were the original targets of the massacre. It turns out both the Foundation and Manus Vindictae are trying to gather allies before the storm hits, making them direct competitors. Schneider escapes, but not before leaving behind a clue: a stock gift agreement with an address for a place called Holly Potion Bar. She also leaves the stolen goods, a strange and mocking gesture. Vertin decides to follow this new lead, taking them deeper into the mysteries of 1920s Chicago. The scene shifts to introduce a new character, a young lady named Sullivan who is preparing for a night out. She is excited to visit a speakeasy called the Walden for a storm gathering. Her butler is laying down strict rules, but her rebellious energy suggests she will not be following them. On their way to the Walden, Vertin and Sonetto get ambushed in a creepy, burnt-out forest. The place gives off major haunted vibes, and Sonetto's attempt at telling a ghost story is interrupted by the appearance of actual monsters. It is a classic out-of-the-frying-pan into the fire situation. A mysterious and powerful arcanist named Druvis III appears, introducing herself as the owner of the woods. With a single, elegant move, she wipes out hundreds of the monster critters. She is a formidable figure with an archaic power style, adding another influential player to the mix. Druvis explains that the Storm Gathering at the Walden is an elite event for arcanists. She is not interested in going herself, but gives Vertin her invitation, which includes a $50,000 stock coupon. This is their ticket into the high-stakes world operating behind the speakeasy's doors. We get a glimpse of the internal politics of Manus Vindictae. Schneider reports to her superior, Lord Forget-Me-Not, who is clearly displeased that she left witnesses, Vertin's team, alive. There is a palpable tension and a power dynamic built on fear and manipulation within the organization. The narrative dives into Schneider's tragic backstory. She grew up in poverty and turned to the underground to support her large adopted family, the Grecos. She found power and a new identity, but lost a part of herself. Her actions are driven by a fierce, complicated loyalty to this family. Sonetto contacts the Foundation's leader, Madame Z, requesting intel on the 1929 stock market crash and its connection to Arcanum. The intel says no arcane forces were involved, but Sonetto rightly suspects Manus Vindictae is altering history, prompting Madame Z to grant her command of a special team. Regulus, during her orientation at the Foundation, is approached by a secret group from within the Scientific Computing Center called Institutum Lorenz. They are also studying the storm but operate independently. They reveal that the upcoming event at the Walden is at the epicenter of a major temporal disturbance. In a chaotic side plot, Sullivan and Sonetto, who have somehow teamed up, crash their car into the back wall of the Walden. They find themselves in a creepy underground labyrinth filled with dust-parasitic critters. Their accidental entrance puts them right in the middle of the unfolding drama. Sonetto makes a chilling discovery in the labyrinth. The walls are leaking a mixture of blood and vomitus containing truth serum. She realizes a human is being held captive and tortured with arcanum somewhere within the speakeasy, adding a dark human rights issue to the mission's scope. Vertin and her backup team prepare to infiltrate the Walden. The intel reveals the speakeasy will host a high-stakes duel with $1 million prize, a clear setup for something bigger. The team is armed with new, volatile tech, a sign that the Foundation is anticipating a serious confrontation. The owner of the Walden, the charismatic and sinister Forget-Me-Not, is revealed. He runs the only speakeasy that has never been raided, thanks to a magic potion that only becomes alcoholic upon consumption. He has built a powerful, untouchable empire that welcomes all of society's outcasts. The duel is announced, and the challenger is chosen randomly by a spotlight, which, of course, lands on Vertin. She is pitted against last year's champion, Schneider. Forget-Me-Not has orchestrated this public showdown, forcing his enemies to fight for the crowd's entertainment. During the duel, Schneider taunts Vertin, questioning the Foundation's so-called justice when they hide the truth about the storm from the world. Her words are laced with personal bitterness, hinting that her family was wronged by the Foundation's lies and secrecy, fueling her allegiance with Manus Vindictae. Schneider reveals a key piece of information. The ones who survive the storm are sifted out. It is not random. This implies a selection process, a chilling concept that reframes the storm from a natural disaster to a targeted culling. Both Manus Vindictae and the Foundation seem to know more than they let on. As they fight, the stock market charts in the bar begin to plummet. The crowd, initially engrossed in the duel, starts to panic as they watch their fortunes evaporate in real time. Forget-Me-Not is using the real-life Wall Street crash as a backdrop for his grand plan. Just as Schneider is about to land a finishing blow, Sonetto and Sullivan burst through the wall behind the stage, having finally broken out of the labyrinth. Their dramatic, if clumsy, entrance completely disrupts the duel and shifts the focus of the entire event, saving Vertin in the nick of time. With all eyes on him, Forget-Me-Not begins his villain monologue. He confirms that the world of 1929 is ending and invites the panicked crowd to witness its finale. He is not just an observer. He is the orchestrator of this apocalypse, and he is reveling in the chaos he has created. As the stock market officially collapses, the storm begins. Forget-Me-Not explains that only those not sifted out will survive to reverse with them. This is the core of his ideology, to use the storm as a purification event, and he is positioning Manus Vindictae as the gatekeepers of the new world. Vertin puts all the pieces together. Manus Vindictae is not just predicting the storm, they are accelerating it by manipulating historical events known for causing societal chaos. Their goal is to return to a past with the right order, a chillingly vague but clearly authoritarian objective. Forget-Me-Not offers the terrified crowd a choice: face erasure or join Manus Vindictae and help rebuild the world. His first mission for his new recruits is to eliminate the government lackeys, Vertin's team, who have been hiding the truth. An all-out brawl erupts in the speakeasy. The situation becomes desperate. The exits are blocked, civilians are getting hurt, and the team is overwhelmed. They are fighting against a crowd of newly radicalized people wearing Manus Vindictae masks. Sullivan proposes an escape route through the hole they made when they crashed the car. In the labyrinth, they hear Schneider using an arcane skill to search for someone, calling out for Marion. It becomes clear that the human captive Sonetto detected earlier is Schneider's missing sister. This personal connection completely recontextualizes Schneider's desperate and violent actions throughout the story. They find Marion, who is clearly traumatized and has been force-fed truth serum. Schneider is trying to save her, but her methods are aggressive. Sonetto and Sullivan intervene, trying to provide actual first aid, creating a tense but necessary collaboration between the opposing sides to save an innocent life. With the labyrinth collapsing and enemies closing in, Vertin makes a high-stakes call. She uses the Heaven Apostle, the experimental bomb, to blast their crashed car out of the wall, creating a permanent exit. It is a risky move that saves the group, but leaves her trapped behind with the debris. Vertin frees Schneider and tells her to run and get her sister to safety, promising to handle the rest. This act of self-sacrifice and trust solidifies a temporary but powerful alliance. Vertin is left to face the consequences, choosing to protect others over her own escape. The story culminates in an epic final battle. Vertin, now joined by an unexpected ally in Schneider, and the returned Druvis III, stands against Forget-Me-Not and his remaining forces. It is a showdown between those who would control the past and those fighting to give everyone a future. The narrator leaves the audience with a final, poignant thought about all the unanswered questions and the impossible goals of the characters. It is a reflection on optimism in the face of insurmountable odds, a fittingly self-aware and hopeful note to end on after a journey through time, chaos, and destruction. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.